Travis Scott finally responds after the disaster at Astroworld concert, and fans didn't like what he had to say at all. So on November 6, 2021, Travis Scott had the Astroworld concert, and what was supposed to be a night of fun and music quickly turned into a nightmare where at least 8 people lost their lives and hundreds were injured. But how did it all happen? And what did Travis reveal about not stopping the concert? I'll tell you all about it, so make sure you stick with me until the very end. According to eyewitnesses, things had already gotten out of hand before the show even started. Videos posted on social media show a crowd of fans running wild through the concert grounds earlier in the day. Things were so crazy because fans broke through the metal barricades that were meant to keep them back. One thing I noticed is that there weren't enough security guards on the ground to deal with the raging crowd. To be fair though, I don't think that increasing the number of security guards would have made much of a difference because the crowd was already out of control at this point. I mean, take a look at this video that shows fans breaking the metal detectors and almost tripping over the only security guard that was trying to keep things back on track. Honestly, I think that this guard deserves a reward or something for being brave enough to even try to get the crowd under control. From the look of things, there were more people at the concert than the venue could even accommodate. For one thing, we're still in a pandemic, and even with the vaccines, huge gatherings like this are still a hot spot for the virus. Apart from the issue of the pandemic, there is also the issue of how unsafe this all is. The venue was filled beyond the maximum capacity, which means that people were there packed shoulder to shoulder, and this means there was an increased risk of suffocation, especially if a stampede happens, which is exactly what happened. Now, Travis is known for encouraging people to sneak into his concert. He made a tweet back in May where he said, "Nah, and we still sneaking the wild ones in." So I think that many fans took him for his word and snuck into the concert, and that's half the reason that things went sideways real fast. Travis's girlfriend and baby mama, Kylie Jenner, was also at the venue, and she was tucked away far from the messy action, thank God. She posted several Instagram stories that showed just how packed the venue was. Kylie posted so many pictures and videos of the concert that watching her Instagram stories was like attending the Astroworld concert. Now, in this particular video that she posted, we see an ambulance trying to make its way through the crowd. Now keep this in mind, because this is going to come back in later. Once the concert started, things got even messier. For example, take a look at this video that shows 3 guys beating someone up at the concert. There were even reports that someone was going around injecting concert goers with an unknown substance that was probably hard drugs. Whoa, you guys, this is just really scary. Now remember that ambulance I spoke about earlier? This was the first indicator that things had already started to go terribly wrong. Before this, security guards and medical staff had already started pulling unconscious people out of the crowd. It is very common for people to pass out during concerts, so this wasn't so much of a big deal. But when the ambulance started making its way, some people began to realize that things weren't exactly going very well. But still, the concert goers didn't let up. They didn't even part to let the ambulance through, which would have been smart and sensible because there's so many people that need help. There was even a video of this dude climbing on the ambulance to do a weird twerk move. Like, bro, what were you even thinking? Everyone knows that when you see an ambulance, you're supposed to make way for it to pass through. Bodies were being pulled out left and right, and this video shows Travis staring right at a body being lifted out of the crowd. He stares for like a couple of seconds and then he goes right back to singing. I mean, I know what they say, the show must go on no matter what, but come on Travis, it doesn't apply to situations like this. By this time, the crowd had already started pressing towards the stage. To make matters worse, there's a video of 2 fans running up to security guards on the stage and demanding that they pause the music because people were literally dying. Take a look at this video. Now, here we can clearly hear that Travis is asking over the microphone who was telling him to stop singing. This means that he heard them. He most likely heard everything they said about people being injured and dying, and he just kept on singing. This makes me super mad because I feel like an announcement from Travis might have helped to calm the crowd enough for the medical staff to assist the people who needed help. But this just goes to show how much of a hypocrite Travis really is. I mean, in 2015, he paused a concert just because someone tried to steal his shoes while he was crowd surfing. I mean, he paused the concert over some shoes that probably only cost a couple of $100s, but he couldn't stop when he heard that people were hurt and dying? This just makes me so mad. Because of the crowd rush, victims reported feeling choked and being trampled on and passing out. This victim, who was a nurse, reported what happened to her during the rush.
I was very anxious. I could feel, myself losing the ability to breathe. It was really hard with the amount of people around me.
She said there wasn't enough medical workers on the ground to deal with this disaster.
In your expertise as someone who works in the medical field, do you feel that there were enough medical resources available?
Not even a little bit. When I followed the security guard that said, "Can you come help me?" after he heard I was a nurse, I followed him, and I mean, the situation I saw was absolutely traumatic.
Now, people all over the world have expressed their shock and anger over this disaster. One person wrote, "Man, these videos and stories from Astroworld concert are so messed up. Literally makes me sick to my stomach." Another person wrote, "The Astroworld thing is literally a horror movie." Some celebrities have also reacted to this tragedy. Drake, who performed at Astroworld earlier that same day, posted a statement to Instagram saying, "My heart is broken for all the families and friends of those who lost their lives and for anyone who is suffering." Trey Songz also tweeted saying, "My heart goes out to all the lives lost and all those affected by what took place in Houston. It's all so unimaginable and very sad." Kylie took to Instagram to address the issue, but honestly, it just sounds like she was trying to defend Travis and herself. She wrote, "Travis and I are absolutely broken and devastated. My thoughts and prayers are with all who lost their lives, were injured, or affected in any way by yesterday's tragic events. I want to make it clear that we weren't aware of any fatalities until the news came out after the show." This just sounds like a PR statement, and fans have called her out on Twitter for this. Somebody tweeted, "Kylie Jenner said that Travis Scott would have stopped the show if he knew what was going on. Girl, you and your child got escorted out of VIP to make room for the bodies of unconscious victims of the Astroworld concert to receive CPR. You knew." So what does Travis have to say about this? Well, for one, he posted a video explaining what happened and basically said that he didn't expect the tragedy to happen and that he was cooperating with local authorities and blah 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 blah. Listen to what he said.
"I just want to send out prayers to the ones that was lost last night. We're actually working right now to identify the families so we can help assist them through this tough time. You know, my fans really mean the world to me, and I always just really want to leave them with a positive experience."
Well, fans were not satisfied with this apology, and neither am I, because it doesn't even sound like an apology at all. It just sounded like he was being forced to do it for PR reasons, and he was trying to remove all the blame for himself. A fan wrote, "You for real? This is all Travis had to say? I wouldn't call this an apology. It's so disappointing. Do better, bro." And I have to agree. Travis really needs to do better, because whatever he thought he was doing in that video isn't giving what it's supposed to have gave. Looking like a fool, rubbing his head instead of being genuine. Travis's reps announced that Travis would cover the full cost for the funerals of the fans who lost their lives at the concert. They also announced that he will be partnering with BetterHelp to offer 1 month of free therapy to people who were affected by the events at the concert. Can somebody tell Travis that grief doesn't go away after 1 month? And that it's not just about throwing money at the problem. The thing is, people need to understand what went wrong at the concert and why the organizers let things get out of hand and how they can avoid that in the future. A Twitter user commented, "Travis Scott is on the hook for like 8 deaths and creating a effing sponsorship deal with the therapy website? Someone stop this man." Now, Travis is being sued by multiple victims of this tragedy. About 12 victims and their families have sued Travis over what they refer to as a predictable and preventable tragedy. Among them is the family of 9-year-old Ezra Blunt, who is still in a medically induced coma. Neither Travis nor his reps have responded to these suits, but I have a feeling that they will settle out of court. I think Travis is going to spend a lot of money settling these cases because honestly, I feel like that's just the least he can do. My love, thoughts, and prayers go out to the victims and their families as they go through this difficult time. I can't even imagine going through something like this. I hope that they find the healing and the strength that they need to deal with this disaster. Now, I have to hear from you guys. What do you think about this? Do you think that anything could have been done to prevent this? Do you think that Travis is really to blame? What do you think about this lack of medical staff? Do you think that Travis's apology was genuine, or do you think that he was trying to avoid backlash? Let me know what you think in the comments. Now, if you enjoyed this video, then check out this video. And that's all the deets on the Astroworld tragedy for now, but don't forget to like this video and please support support me by subscribing to the channel. Be a certified baddie and turn on the notifications so you don't miss any juicy gossip. And that's all the tea for today, my baddies. See you next time.